Welcome to Saint Helena, a remote island in the South Atlantic, far from everything. It's small, quiet, and feels like nowhere else on Earth. Surrounded by cliffs, hills, and endless ocean, life here moves slowly. Until recently, there was no airport, making it a place stuck in time. Napoleon was exiled here, and you can still feel history in its forts and old buildings. The locals are close-knit, but this island hides surprises, rare wildlife, ocean adventures, and unique stories. Let's dive into its top spots. 1. Jamestown. First up is Jamestown, the island's capital, tucked between steep cliffs. Founded in 1659 by the English East India Company, it's a charming spot with a narrow layout. The Georgian buildings from the 18th century line Main Street, showing off its colonial roots. Don't miss St. James Church, built in 1774. It's the oldest Anglican church in the Southern Hemisphere. And then there's Jacob's Ladder, a 699-step climb to Ladder Hill Fort with amazing views. Napoleon passed through here in 1815, and it once helped stop the slave trade. Today, it's a friendly mix of history and modern life. 2. Jacob's Ladder. Next, Jacob's Ladder. This isn't just a staircase, it's a challenge. With 699 steep steps, it climbs straight up from Jamestown to Ladder Hill Fort. Built in 1829 as a rope railway for supplies, it's now a tough but rewarding hike. At the top, you'll see the town's colorful rooftops and the vast Atlantic. Locals have raced it in under 6 minutes, and visitors get a certificate if they finish. At night, it glows like a ribbon against the hill. It's a must-see landmark. 3. Longwood House. Then there's Longwood House, where Napoleon lived out his exile from 1815 to 1821. This single-story home with green shutters is simple but full of history. Inside, you can see his bedroom, study, and personal items, all preserved like a time capsule. The gardens outside are peaceful, with flowers adding a calm vibe. Run by the French government today, it's a museum that lets you step into Napoleon's final years, a real piece of the past. 4. Napoleon's Tomb. Napoleon's tomb is next, a quiet spot in a lush valley. After his death in 1821, he was buried here in a place he loved walking by. The tombstone's blank. France and Britain couldn't agree on what to write. In 1840, his remains moved to Paris, but this site's still preserved by France. It's serene, with tree-lined paths leading to a peaceful reminder of his exile. 5. High Knoll Fort. High Knoll Fort sits 600 meters above sea level, the island's biggest fort. Built in 1799 by the British to guard against French attacks, it got a major upgrade in 1874. It's held Boer War prisoners, livestock, even a NASA station in the 80s. Now restored, its stone walls and courtyards offer killer views of the island and ocean, history and scenery in one. 6. Heart-shaped waterfall. The heart-shaped waterfall is a hidden gem named for its heart-shaped rock frame. Dropping 295 feet, it's stunning in the rainy season, though quieter when dry. Surrounded by trees, plants, and birds, the trail to it is an easy hike. Once French land during Napoleon's time, it's now protected by the National Trust. A peaceful escape in nature. 7. Plantation House. Plantation House has been the governor's home since 1792, a gorgeous Georgian mansion with big windows and wooden floors. Its star, Jonathan, the world's oldest tortoise, over 190 years old. The rooms are packed with antique furniture and history, while the gardens are a quiet retreat with rare plants and hill views. A living piece of the past. James Church, St. James Church, built in 1774, is the oldest Anglican church in the Southern Hemisphere, right in Jamestown. Its stone design, tall windows, and clock tower stand out. Inside, wooden pews and stained glass create a calm vibe. The cemetery outside has graves from centuries ago, sailors, settlers, stories etched in stone. A timeless spot. 9. The castle. The castle in Jamestown isn't your typical castle, no towers, but its solid stone walls scream history. Built in the 17th century, it's been the government hub for over 300 years. Inside, grand rooms hold old furniture and portraits, while the council chamber still has its original table. The gardens outside, with flowers and a fountain, add charm. It's still alive with official business today. 10th. Ladder Hill Fort. Ladder Hill Fort towers above Jamestown, giving you a perfect view of the valley and ocean below. Built in the late 18th century, it was a key military spot to protect the island from attacks. Its thick stone walls, old cannons, and underground tunnels tell tales of soldiers who once guarded it. You can reach it via Jacob's Ladder, those famous 699 steps we mentioned earlier. It started as a rope system for supplies, but now it's solid stone. The climb's tough, but the panoramic views from the fort make it worth it. Today, it's a peaceful place where history meets stunning scenery. 11th. Mundin's Battery. Mundin's Battery sits on a rocky cliff at Jamestown's entrance, a quiet guard from the past. Built in the 17th century, it was set up to defend the harbor from enemy ships, with cannons ready to fire. Over time, it grew stronger, and during Napoleon's exile, British troops used it to watch for rescue attempts. You can still see the stone walls and old gun spots, though the cannons are silent now. The rugged coast around it adds a wild beauty, with the ocean stretching out endlessly. It's a mix of military history and a great lookout point today. 12th. Halley's Mount. Halley's Mount is a hill with a big story. Back in 1677, Edmund Halley, the guy who discovered Halley's Comet, set up an observatory here to map the southern stars. Its high spot and clear skies made it perfect. You can still find the stone platform where his tools once stood. The climb up is gentle, with paths winding through grass and wildlife. From the top, you get rolling hills and a distant coastline, unchanged since Halley's time. It's a quiet place to feel history and enjoy nature, imagining him staring at the same sky. That's a taste of Saint Helena's magic, history, nature, and a vibe all its own. There's so much more to explore, so if you love this, hit subscribe for more hidden gems.